Okay, looks like the recording is on. I think I'm good to go. Who's running the meeting tonight?
God is.
Your Bluetooth device is connected.
Todd, you all set?
Yeah, I'm all set. Right now I'm just forwarding the Grace's surveys from my mobile phone to my big computer. Just give me one more minute. Okay. So we'll give this a shot, everybody. I'm out of town, but I'm gonna try and do my best. We have other board members there that can maybe help me out. If the audio's no good, if anybody's having trouble hearing me or understanding me, then shout out. I think all the things we're tackling tonight are pretty straightforward procedurally. Did that all come through?
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. And I think we have, looks like Jacob is attending. We have, we have Andrea, Beth, Michael.
Yep.
Okay, all right. And in the audience, who do we have?
We have Grace and Andy Knight and the applicant's online, the applicant's brother, I'm sorry.
With Ed.
Ed
Pamela
Whitmore.
Whittemore.
Yeah, and the surveyor. Sorry, I don't.
Didn't call.
And is that Barbara? We have Barbara joining us.
Hi.
Hi, Barbara. You might recognize my face. I'm Todd. I'm the chair of the DRB. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think tonight, do you think you'll be participating or you just want to listen?
I'm just want to get information and listen.
Excellent. Give us because I know who everyone is so far, but everyone might not know who you are. So tell us how you fit into the neighborhood.
Oh, I'm Barbara Hastings Volta. I have the barn and the sugar house adjoining part of the Whittemore property on Upper Falls.
Okay, great. So we'll get to, I think, that hearing in just in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tonight I'll open the first well, let's go back for 1 second because we've got the agenda. Okay. We have tonight on the agenda. We'll have comments from any citizens regarding things that aren't on the agenda. We have 2 public hearings. One is for Whitmore for a 2-lot subdivision. The next will be Knight for a 2-lot subdivision. We'll look at our meeting minutes, maybe rules of procedures and protecting personal information. Perhaps we'll put those off, both of those off. Ryan can give us an update on what's going on with the bylaws and the planning commission. Then we'll talk about future agenda items we want to do. Does anybody have any comments about the agenda? Okay, so what we'll do when I ask a question, because I can't see everybody's face, is just step on my toes with your voice so that I know whether or not to stop. Okay, so are there any comments from anybody, any citizens regarding things that aren't on the agenda?
Looks like a no.
Okay, there's a no. Okay, so we have tonight a public hearing, and I'll start off that public hearing by reading the notice of the public hearing. Tonight we have application 26.0319.WHI for a 2-lot subdivision at 863 Upper Falls Road, parcel 0701 22.3. This application requires final plat review. And this is we had a sketch plan review and we haven't had final plat review yet. So for everybody who hasn't gone through final plat review, basically we have some procedural things that we'll do, then we'll enter all the exhibits, then we'll sort of pass the puck around for who gets to participate when. And then several times, don't feel like I'm going to miss you. Several times I'll say, are there any comments? Are there any comments? And just pipe up if you have any. We have for the board, does anybody have any possible conflicts of interest? I do not.
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay. And then has anybody had any ex parte communications? I have not.
No.
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 Okay. And then for interested persons, I
Quick
think.
thought. Real quick, just to for the record, it sounds like Jacob Chase will be participating as a member, and Grace has recused herself from the sketch plan and continues to do that tonight in the hearing. Is that
Okay.
correct?
I'll listen for her answer to that just to make sure. Grace, are you?
Yes, I am recusing myself from both hearings tonight because I feel the Whitmore application is so similar to the Knight application that I should recuse myself from both.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, Jacob, for sitting in tonight. I appreciate it. For interested persons, the interested persons status for an application allows certain parties to potentially appeal applications. And for right now, we have, it looks like, Barbara, you're in the neighborhood. Do you think potentially if we did not do a good job with this decision that you might want to appeal it? We can grant you interested person status if you would like. And then also we have the applicant, Camilla, and sorry, who's the other person there for the applicant?
My brother, Edward Whittemore.
And is he representing you, or is he own land nearby? Or I should ask Edward.
Yeah.
I live across the road.
Okay. So I'd like to suggest to the board that we grant interested person status to Edward, Camilla, and to Barbara. Is there anyone else that we should add or have any comments about that?
The surveyor You want to be added? You're gonna testify.
Yes.
I
He,
think the
he-
surveyor should be added. Dave.
yeah, it's a good idea. I don't think he would get status. So the, it's a good point though, because the next thing we'll do will be swear everybody in. But for this, an interested person is a person owning title to property or a municipality or solid waste management district, empowered to condemn it or have an interest in it, affected by a bylaw, who alleges that the bylaw imposes on the property unreasonable or inappropriate restrictions of present or potential use under the particular circumstances of the case. The town of Weathersfield would be another example, or another municipality. A person owning or occupying property in the immediate neighborhood. Let's see. Any 10 voters who signed a petition for interested person status, and any department or administrative subdivision of the state owning property. So I think David Coleman will certainly swear him in, but he wouldn't get interested person status. And anybody else? So would someone make a motion to grant interested person status to the 3 individuals identified before that?
I move that we grant interested person status to the 3 individuals.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Were there any nays?
There were no nays.
Okay, thank you so much.
Tom, I think while we're online, you have to do a roll call for votes.
Okay, I'm not familiar with what that means. Fill me in.
Basically, if there are participating voting members online, you're called by name and they'll give their vote.
Okay, all right. So from here on out, we'll do that. And then for the votes that we already took, I'm going to presume that someone there was making sure that everybody did vote.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. We'll go ahead and swear everybody in. Camilla, Edward, Ryan, Barbara. For you guys tonight, if you would affirm the following. I hereby affirm, and David Coleman. I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, under the pains and penalties of perjury. Barbara,
You do.
I do.
did I hear Edward?
I do.
Camilla?
I affirm.
Excellent. Ryan?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Did I miss anybody?
Dave.
Dave Coleman?
Yeah, I affirm.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Okay, Ryan, could you give us a summary of the application?
Sure. So pretty simple. There's a parcel of land on the east side of Upper Falls Road. There's a existing 911 address for the existing single family home, which is 863 Upper Falls Road. The landowner is 863 Upper Falls Road LLC. And the proposal is a 2-lot subdivision with the existing single family home on lot 1 and no planned development for lot 2. You'll see there are 2 building envelopes that have been identified. And this is within the Rural Residential Reserve 3 to 5 district.
Okay, so I'd like to get some exhibits in. The exhibit list will mimic the public hearing list items. We have Exhibit 1 will be the public hearing notice. Exhibit 2, the administrative summary. Exhibit 3, the application. Exhibit 4, the final plat survey. Exhibit 5, the administrative review. Exhibit 6, the sketch plan review comments. Exhibit 7, the department impact review sheet. Exhibit 8, permit navigator results. And I think we have, if I'm correct, Ryan, what you have up on the screen would be Exhibit 9, and I think that would be a revised final plat survey.
Correct.
I can't see the date, but
It's June 23rd. Is the
Okay,
date on the house.
okay, dated June 23rd. Are there any other exhibits that we want? Oh, and let's see. We also had, let's see. Didn't we also have a letter?
Oh, from Tyler?
Yeah, we also had a letter that maybe the number didn't make it on there.
The hearing item 9 is the email from Tyler Brown. Is that what you're talking about?
That's not on the fucking page.
Yeah. Okay. So let's make exhibit 10. The deer wintering area discussion email. Okay. So now if we could get whoever wants to present the application, this might be a little redundant for everybody who sat through the sketch plan review, but the sketch plan review is an informal process where we get a chance to sort of talk to the applicant and provide our feedback as we go through the items. This is the hearing, so we have to go through everything again. What we'll do is we'll have the applicant, you want to present the application, and you could build on anything that, build on what Ryan said. You don't have to repeat everything. And then tell us what's different about the exhibits that we've had so far to look at. And I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
Are you talking to me, Kamala?
Yeah, definitely. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to David Coleman. And I guess if Edward's helping with the application, to Edward too. So what we want to
Okay.
do is this is your chance to present the application. And we have all these exhibits. So we're all familiar with the exhibits. And then we had provided review comments of sketch plan review. Presumably, if any of those comments don't show up on the survey, then point them out so we can get a chance to talk about them.
Okay, well, my application is just to be able to buy some land that I grew up on. I have no plans to develop it. I just want a piece of the property I grew up on. My part of the list that I got from Ryan, he reached out to Taylor at the state about the deer yard thing. And then I sent an email to him also, and his email response was that he has nothing to say because there's not going to be any development, so it won't affect the deer yard. So the rest of the things on the list, I think, were things that Dave Coleman can answer better than me. It all has to do with surveying and the plat and all that.
David, do you want to tell us what's different about the new exhibit? And it's going to be a little hard, so I'm looking at the screen. I can't zoom into Ryan's exactly well, but if you tell us what's different.
Can you hear me from here?
Not very well.
Yeah. Not. So yeah, help me out, because I'm hard of hearing anyway, so.
Right there. That's what you were
Yeah.
talking to.
Walter? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the revisions, we labeled the culvert symbols. We put on the use of the abutters such as residential or agriculture. We changed the configuration of the building envelopes, which we still have to modify one a little bit to conform to the offset from the brook. See, we changed the steep slope so that it didn't intersect the building envelope. See, I think we added from the earlier meeting, we added class 2 wetlands. We added a vernal pool. I think that's about it. Oh, the final plat stamp we added.
Okay. Does the board, anything else you want to add right now? And just so I'm clear, you have, David, you have the the sort of two different items that we provided. One's the written comments, and then the other is the checklist. You have both of those?
I don't have them on me now.
But I mean, you received them.
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I could just go up, Ryan had in his administrative review, he'd gone through, and maybe a couple of these will be taken care of, but he had several comments, and they were sort of all the same ones that I had. And so I think if you guys want to scroll down to, it would be Exhibit 5 in his subdivision checklist. You get down to the bottom of that, and we wanted to have paper plats. I don't know what you guys are looking at, but
They were provided.
Yeah,
okay.
we have,
I understand that we have now, Dave has added the adjoining land uses and the culvert sizes. Are the culvert sizes there, or it just says culvert?
Just the culvert.
Okay. The deer wintering areas. We have one, the note from the state about the deer wintering areas is, can I paraphrase? It says, here's where I think they are based on a map. If you're going to do any development near those, I should come do a site visit, right? So are the deer wintering areas shown on this map, the new map, Dave?
No.
Okay.
Do you have the latest email from Tyler? Is it from the state about the deer wintering thing?
The last one I have is Exhibit 10, and it included one attachment. So I don't know what the latest one is. Is there a
Okay.
newer one since that, Ryan?
Yeah, I can read that, that was sent yesterday.
Okay.
He said, Cam said that, there were no plans to develop. And so his response was, thanks, Cam. Ryan, based on Cam's response, there's no need for me to assess the deer wintering area, and a subdivision of the property with no development will not impact the mapped deer wintering area.
Okay, could you put a copy in the files, and we'll make that Exhibit 11?
Yeah, do you want to just modify the exhibit that you already have? This is just an additional email on the same chain.
Okay, so we'll just keep that then. Exhibit 10, we'll add it to it. That's totally fine. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And the brook, is the brook in the building envelope, and is it a jurisdictional brook? Do we have a sense of how big that brook is? We,
Can I just speak to that? At the site visit, we walked over to the brook and it is more than 4 feet wide. So the consensus seemed to be that there would be a setback necessary, and I don't want to speak for you, Dave, but he seemed to say he would just move the building envelope.
Right,
I don't want to put words in your mouth. Yes.
sure, yes, the 75 feet, yeah.
Now, I don't know what the applicant thinks about that, but he wasn't there. But we did inspect the brook, yes.
Well, I wasn't there. I'm too far
Yeah.
away to be there, so I don't know. I trust Dave completely, so I'll go with his advice.
Yeah, I think that works. This still gives you a place to build a house
Yeah,
that
it's
you're
a
not planning
pretty
on.
nice site, so it's fine.
so we could, without too much trouble, we could get, you've got the center line of the brook, and you can put the setback from top of bank on there, and
I
then
can,
fix the building envelopes so that they are outside those areas.
right.
There, Ryan said there's a stray green arrow somewhere. I don't see it, but if you, we'll make sure that that stray green arrow on lot 1's gone.
That's right, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure that's previous layout, yeah.
Typically we have the contour lines to look at. And while I talk about contour lines, I'll also say, to the extent that it makes your life easier, we are also trying to get to the point with the surveyors where we're separating exhibits. And that is, sort of think about how surveys have always been, where the survey shows the boundary lines and the sort of size of the lots and such. And then we have these other exhibits that we're looking at, like where are the wetlands and things. And to the extent that the one drawing becomes terribly busy, right? If you come to a point where there's just too much on here, or you want to simplify your survey, you can include a second sheet, and it could just be exhibit 2. We can have a different sheet so that you feel confident that you're portraying the property lines accurately, but also you're able to fit all the things that we're asking for. Just an aside, you don't have to put everything on this one piece of paper. That's just,
Yeah, kind of like an engineering set of plans, yeah.
a second sheet, and you'll see, if you hang out, you'll see sort of Grace's application, which is coming up, just adopted that approach, and anything's fine. I just notice as we start to add layers to this, that sometimes it can be hard to show everything that we're asking for on the same drawing when you're trying to show the property line information too.
Right.
But the contour lines are just another example of that, especially in the areas where we have, where we're talking about approving building envelopes. Those are helpful things to have. And I can see, just looking at your drawing, that would be really hard to add and then have a legible survey. So we had Ryan's next comment was the water wastewater permit. If you all recall, there's already an existing subdivision here that would be, I guess, superseded somehow, but that water wastewater permit. We had asked about the status of that and asked it to be revised or made to be relevant to the proposal as today. Is there been any changes there?
How about it, Cam? Because you were working with Barry Polidor on that, weren't you?
Yeah, Barry didn't get back to me with anything, so I don't know where I must have missed that. I didn't see anything about wastewater, but I sent whatever Ryan sent me, I forwarded to Barry. So I don't know why I would need a wastewater permit if I'm not building anything. Where's
you already have a wastewater permit. The
okay, is
wastewater,
that from when they built my mom's house?
I don't know the course of events on the property, but there was a water wastewater permit that showed other development on the lot that you're buying. And
That may have
it's-
been something my late brother had thought about years ago, but
That's
I don't know
correct.
why
Gil.
he would do that.
Yeah, Gil was working on that. Yeah.
Uh-oh, Ryan.
I know. I'm working on.
Oh,
It was frozen. I'm trying to fix it.
okay.
okay, floodway.
They're
The
there.
floodway. So is there on your maps, we were looking for add the floodway. I know you have the zone AE, the area of inundation there.
Yeah, isn't the floodway the AE?
It can be. Usually the floodway is the area that has intense velocity. It's sort of the river being conveyed at speed, and AE represents the inundation hazard in total, and it would be the floodplain. It could extend a mile away from the river. So the floodway is just a different thing when you're looking at the layers on the state site or you're looking at our flood maps. If you click on the floodway layer, it'll show up.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, we have these former courses from other floods. So yeah, we have a lot of that stuff going on here.
Yeah. Yep.
Plus the Corps of Engineers flood backs up into here too.
Yep. I saw that. We've got that. Then after the checklist, Ryan's next set of comments were about the development envelope, that being crossing the stream, the steep slopes, and we've talked about those. The wetland, when we have a wetland or we have a stream and we have a vernal pool, what we want to do is we want to show the buffers too. So that is if we're identifying these a building envelope or two, if you add those buffers to the information you already have, then we know where we don't want to approve a building envelope. Okay.
Okay.
And then ag soils. Do we know, Ryan, what are your thoughts about ag soils here?
Let me pull up my notes. Well, they're on the lower section of my comments. So minimizing erosion on prime ag soils, 31.7. Ag soils, not on the checklist, but they are on the property. All right, let me You move on, let me go, I'll pull up the state map and see what there
Okay.
is for. Share
Okay.
that.
So we have ag bylaws, and they deal with development. And I think, just thinking about this, we have this situation's just a little bit unique in that you're proposing a development envelope, but then you keep repeating that you're not going to do any development. So we're trying to, I don't know exactly how I should reconcile those two things, because
Well,
if you want,
if
just-
I'm proposing a development envelope, I didn't know I was.
okay,
This may be something my late brother started years and years ago, but he's been dead since 2017. And so,
so can I then make sure that we're all on the same page? There are two ways we could go, and I'm fine with this either way. One way is that David removes the building envelopes from the plan. The plan gets much simpler. We all move on. The other thing is we refine the building envelopes, and we keep talking about us making sure that this proposed subdivision and the building envelopes that you're proposing meet some basic level of the bylaws to protect those things that we're trying to protect. So
No,
those are
I
the
don't
two
mind.
options.
okay, I don't mind removing whatever makes it simpler and let the next generation or generation after or the third or fourth one, if they all decide to build something, then they can deal with it then.
Okay.
I don't, whatever makes it simple, because it just seems like this is so difficult just to get a piece of the property I grew up on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for our standpoint in reviewing this, that would make it simpler. But I'm not you, and I don't get to make your decisions. So, Ryan, can you tell us what you got up here? I see we have some statewide A, statewide B, and prime.
So these are the soil types that are protected, the considered prime agricultural soils. The blue, green, and purple, and the peach color are all considered part of those prime ag soils. It looks like it covers both of the development or both of the building envelopes that are proposed. And the total area together would be greater than 3 acres, which is sort of the cutoff for whether or not the bylaw is triggered. And so the bylaw basically calls for siting of structural development to mitigate impacts on those soils.
Okay. Thank you. So, my takeaway from this is, if you want to have a building envelope, David, then we need to see what the boundaries of those are so we can factor them in. Okay. If you're not going to have a building envelope, then I think you could just take the data viewer and put them on the survey so we have them, and that'll be it. So those are Ryan's comments and my comments. Do any board members have questions?
I would just like some clarification for myself and maybe the applicant. So the total building envelope has to be less than 3 acres?
No, there has to be, for the ag soil bylaw to not be triggered, there needs to be less than 3 acres of contiguous ag soil on the parcel.
Oh, I understand.
I have a question. Are we going to add that as item 11? If we're referencing it?
Up to the board.
Todd, did you?
Yeah, we should do
Yeah,
that.
I do have some thoughts about that. That is, for us tonight, we could take that as an exhibit, but either way, we're going to continue because there's items that we need to fix. So if we're going to continue, then that could just be something that we get resolved during the next hearing. And I think that will also be good because during the next hearing, we will get a map that has a development envelopes on it or doesn't. That's my thought. But I don't think we need to make this an exhibit, Ryan's thing, but he can certainly share it with Dave if Dave can't get his hands on it. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're sort of getting to the end. Barbara, did you have any comments that you wanted us to include beyond what we've talked about so far?
No, I appreciate all the information that I'm taking in. Thank you.
Okay. And just so I'm sure we have, does anybody else have any comments? Where I think we're just,
I don't.
okay. And any members of the board? I can see, unfortunately, Andrea's cut off. I can't see Andrea. So there you go.
She says no.
Okay.
Actually, one that was not included was that the name was changed on the name was updated. So I thought that was an important addition that nobody mentioned because we asked about it at the preliminary and that wasn't corrected. So
Excellent. That I'm really glad you brought that up because the other thing we asked for was whatever signatory authority that Camilla has for the trust. We need that.
I
We need that
forwarded a
document.
thing from the state to Ryan that lists the agent and the whatever for the 863 Upper Falls Road LLC.
Okay, great. So Ryan, is that something that you have where we could put it in tonight?
I'm not seeing that.
So you didn't receive the email? I forwarded it in an email. It was an attachment in an email to you
No, I don't
several
see
weeks
any.
ago.
No, I don't see an email from you with that in it.
Okay, I'll send it again. It's
That
just the
would-
form from the state that lists the name of the LLC, that it's active and who the people are involved in it the agent and one other, I can't remember the name of the other person. Not the person's name, but the name of their position in the LLC. It's Scott Whittemore and myself.
You're the trustees.
Well, we're the officers of the LLC. I
Okay.
guess is what it's in. I don't have access to it right now. I can't switch from this meeting over to my email to find it. But I can I'll send another email after this meeting to Ryan with the attachment from the state. Yeah, I don't think they're trustees in an LLC. I think it's like an agent and something else. I can't remember the title.
They used to
Okay.
call members.
I didn't understand that.
They're usually called members. You're a member of an LLC.
Right, but well, I can, when I forward the thing, he may get it while the meeting is still going on and he can tell you what it is. After my part is done, I can get into my email and forward it to Ryan.
Okay. So, well, just for a few more minutes, you can keep looking for that. But I think that at this point, I think we want to continue. We'll have if we're going to continue the hearing, then we won't necessarily have a detailed list of review like we're not going to close the hearing and give you a decision. So we'll have the meeting minutes, and you have our original site sketch plan review comments. You'll have the meeting minutes. We just want the things that we've talked about to be on the survey, and a decision about the development envelope be made. And you don't have to make it tonight. But
Right,
go
I
ahead.
made that. I'm doing away with it. I want to
Okay.
simplify, make it as simple as possible.
Okay. So then I think, Dave, do you feel comfortable sort of with the things that we've talked about? Is there any question in your mind about what's left?
No, I just be in touch with Ryan, and I think we can work this out.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So then would the board consider a motion to continue the hearing? Looks like, David, is a couple, 2-3 weeks long enough
Sure.
for you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess our next hearing would be the 14th or the 28th.
14th would be better for me. I'm going to be gone again on the 28th.
And I'll just say for my part that works for me. So I can do it. And if we get 2 other people to weigh in, at least tentatively, then we'll just schedule it for then.
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
2 yeses.
I'm open.
And a what, Andrea?
Probably, yes.
Okay. All right. So would someone make a motion then?
I'll make a motion to continue the Whitmore hearing until July 14th. Bastille Day.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, Michael,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Todd says aye. And Jacob is doing his best to listen. He's got field hockey management he's trying to deal with.
It looks like he's dropped.
He's dropped?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
no longer.
Okay. So then we have one missing. So we're going to continue, right?
Okay.
All right. So for us tonight, thank you everybody on Team Whitmore for coming. I think we're done.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have subdivision for Knight. And I'll go ahead and open the hearing. Tonight we have application 260310 dot Knight for 2. Wow, you got she got her whole name in there for 2-lot subdivision at 328 Gravelin Road, parcel 040251. This application requires final plat review. Now, Grace and Randy, I won't go through the whole procedure narrative because you sat through it the last time. So I'm gonna skip that step. We have, so everyone here knows the order of events now. And do any of the board members have any potential conflicts of interest? We'll do the same order. Michael,
No.
Beth,
No,
Andrea,
No, but I just think we have to just say it out loud that Grace is a board member, but I feel like I have no conflict and I can be fair and impartial. to review this.
okay. Okay, all right. I don't think I have any conflicts myself, and I can treat Grace as fairly as her application deserves. I have, and Jacob is still,
Grudge against
I
Randy.
was gonna ask that too.
what?
Can you treat Randy fairly, Todd?
Yes, I can treat Randy as fairly as the application deserves, just like you. Yep. Have there been any ex parte communications? I think we'll start with Michael,
No.
Beth,
no,
Andrea.
No,
Todd says I have not. For interested persons, I think I would like to suggest that we grant interested person status to Grace and Randy.
sounds
Does it-
good. Do you motion for that?
I think
No.
it's a good idea. We grant it, so it's really a good idea for us to vote on that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that Randy and Grace Stein become interested persons.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Okay, I heard everybody that time, so I'm sure, and I'll say aye. So that's 4 of us. Now that Andrea's all the way in the frame, I can see her. And Ryan, Grace, and Randy, if you would affirm the following. I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury. And I'll start because I can see Ryan,
I affirm.
Grace,
I affirm.
I affirm.
and Randy's sitting behind the
I affirm.
podium. Okay, I can't see Randy. So if I ignore you, Randy, it's because you have no presence.
probably should.
Okay.
Can you see it, Todd?
Now you're just about to sit out of the frame.
All right.
You-
Let's see.
Randy was other way.
scoot over to the other side that
There
way.
you go. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Now I could see everybody. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. I like your shirts. Those look good. All right. So Ryan, do you want to give us a summary of this application and anything that's different?
Sure. This is a property with an existing single-family home at with a 911 address of 328 Gravelin Road. The property is 270.94 acres. That total lot size is, I believe, different than what was presented at the sketch plan review. But the the proposal is still a 2-lot subdivision with no plans for development on lot 2. It's primarily in the conservation C10 zoning district with a strip on the eastern edge, in the rural residential reserve. To explain the lot size difference, there was a 14 or so acre lot on the north end of the property, which has since been, I guess, removed from this portion of the application, with plans for transferring ownership.
Ownership is transferred.
It has transferred, so it's no longer under that ownership and not part of this project.
Okay, Grace and Randy, do you want to describe the subdivision for your final plat review? And also tell us what's different in the exhibits, because I just got it. So
Okay, so, to summarize from our last meeting where we were all together, Randy and I have owned this property since 1999. We bought 2 additional parcels, a 14.3 acre parcel north of the Velco lines, which we sold to our abutting neighbor Chad Free on June 11th. So that now is no longer our property. We own 10 acres across Gravelin Road, which is still shown on this survey as other lands of Randy and Grace Knight. We're retaining that 10 acres because one of our sons has expressed an interest in building on it in the future. And we are entering our retirement years, or wish to enter our retirement years. We are eagerly anticipating them. And we would like a smaller property with fewer chores and fewer expenses. So this property is listed for sale as of today. And in hopes of attracting a wider variety of potential buyers, we would like to offer it for sale 2 ways. One way is with the house all outbuildings and 64 acres, and the other way is for the whole 271 acres. And should the buyer only buy the 64 acres, we would love to keep the additional, 207 acres in current use in productive forest management.
can you tell us what's different about the new exhibits?
Well, we attempted to incorporate all the feedback that this board gave us at the last meeting. So we have done several things. The board asked us to do an insert map because it's such a large parcel of land that the details of the road frontage were really hard to see. So what we are proposing to do is to access the 207 acre parcel with a 50-foot right of way that goes along the existing driveway and then turns, is that north? Or what's that?
It turns north.
It turns north, just below a small pond. And when it crosses the property line from the 64 acre parcel to the 207 acre parcel, it feeds into a logging skidder road, which has been in existence since at least 1955 and has been used about every 20 years for logging. And the advantage to us of this approach is first, it saves us money. We don't have to break up a beautiful stone wall or create a new driveway access. And in Weathersfield Planning Commission, this stretch of Gravelin Road is deemed a scenic stretch of road in our town. And so by not creating a new curb cut, by not creating a new driveway, we preserve the peaceful rural character of this stretch of Gravelin Road. There's no visual impact. There's no impact on anything except that it will be used for our family's personal recreational access, the right of way, and it will be used for logging maybe every 10 to 20 years. And the surveyor has not yet placed the markers. He says he will not place the markers until this board approves the subdivision.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So just in terms of the process, there's our decision that we make based on our final plat review. And then there's the last sequence, which is when we actually get the plat to record that I have to sign. So that's when we sit on the plat and it doesn't get recorded until the pins are set. Does that sound right to you, Ryan?
Correct.
Okay.
So Andrea was unable to attend the site visit, but Michael, Beth, and Ryan were at the site visit if you have questions about that.
I do. I have a question for them. What was your favorite part of the 206 acre parcel that you
The
walked?
top Heights Peak. We hiked up there.
Excellent. Excellent. That was just a test to see how thorough the site visit was.
It was thorough.
Okay. So let's go just for a sidebar, because we have had some change now in the exhibits. So I'll go ahead and record the exhibits that we have to make sure we're up to date. Exhibit 1 will be the public hearing notice. Exhibit 2, the administrative summary. Exhibit 3, the application. Exhibit 4, what I'd like to do is replace. We have 3 new drawing sheets revised. I'd like to replace those into the packet so that the exhibits will be the new revisions, with which I think do they all have the same date? The revision.
I think the ones that are in the packet are the same as what Grace sent to us in the email and has provided us paper copies of.
Okay, this says if you look at what I have in my emails, there's a revision number 1 dated 6/23/26.
I think it's 6, yeah. Is it 6/26 or is it
It says 6/23 on I'm looking at sheet 3.
Where's the revision date that you're reading?
Okay.
It's to the bottom left. Well, on that sheet, on sheet 3, it is just to the left on the bottom of the page of the title block. On exhibit 2, it's all the way on the left hand side, and it says
on 3 of 3.
I'm not seeing where on the page that is. It's on the bottom.
Why don't you just look at your paper? Right here.
Trying to confirm if it's the same as the one that's already in the packet.
It's supposed to be. Oh,
Oh,
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's.
so.
It's
Let me see if I can summarize it. So sheet 1 that Grace has in her hand, or the email I got, has just to the left of the title block, it has a revision of 6/23, revision 3, 6/23. Does everybody see that? Okay. And then Sheet 2. This one does not seem to have been revised since 6/3/26, revision 1. So it's either a typo, which it probably is just a typo, or it's the same one that we had.
It may be a typo.
Okay. Because that one was the last one we had was the original.
One of three, it has revision 1 of 5/14/26, revision 2 of 6/3/26, and revision 3 of 6/23/26. Got it?
I got that.
So really, maybe sheet 2 was only revised on 6/3.
Okay.
And revised culvert size.
And that was 6/3, so that is correct. Sheet 2 has not been revised since 6/3.
So yes, the ones in the packets should be replaced with these updated versions with the revisions dated on.
Right. Except that the second page probably didn't change, but that's
The second
irrelevant.
page changed, but the final revision, the one of 6/23, is the one where our name was removed as additional lands on that 14 acres that we sold to our neighbor to the north, Chadford. The final revision was to accurately show that Chad Free now owns that 14 acres. That was part of the plan that we discussed last time we came before this board.
Okay. Exhibit 5 will be the administrative review. Exhibit 6 are the sketch plan review and DRB comments. Exhibit 7 is the department impact review sheet, and Exhibit 8 are the permit navigator results. Is there anything else that we want to get in there? Is that it? Any correspondence or anything?
No.
Okay. And just so we talked a lot about things changing on the plans. Ryan, you're right that like the second page, sheet 2, didn't change. So sheet 1 changed, sheet 2 didn't change, sheet 3 changed. I did, well, that was good not to swear there. All right. So does the board have any specific questions? I'll go after anybody.
Looks like a no.
It looks like a no. Okay, then here are my questions. I have, and you can, in your narrative, you may have answered them, but if we look at the detail blow up where we have the pond that's there, this is the sheet 2. There's the pond, then there's the right of way, and as Ryan pointed out in one of his review comments, and I also had the same comment, is the utility going to be, or utilities also included in this right of way? Do you intend to allow the owner of the undeveloped parcel to let utilities go over this? If we do, then I would clean that up on the drawing. So we always, and when you have a right of way, it is helpful to say it's access, egress, utilities, whatever you want it to be for. That's something to think about there.
Okay, so if we say yes, we would like utilities, does that mean we can't get this approved tonight? or close the hearing tonight? What
No.
do we do?
No,
What?
this is just a discussion. So we take evidence tonight. We close the hearing. If you said you could tell the board, we want to just fix that language, then that'll just show up in our decision.
I'd like to correct the language that the right of way includes utilities.
Okay. And then is we don't have that Woods Road or the Forest Road. Does it go over that culvert that we see in that drawing?
No, the Woods Road?
Was I correct in hearing you before that right now where the right of way goes, there's an existing forest road or woods road that goes out through it?
It's a skidder road, yeah.
Yeah.
And it does tie into that culvert. So to access that skidder road from the driveway, you would cross that culvert.
You would have culvert to access the skidder road, yes.
Okay, all right, that's what I was getting at. And what is that doesn't show up as a wetland, right? That's not a regulated wetland, the pond?
It is not a regulated wetland. You can look at all your wetlands on sheet 1 of 3. It is not a wetland.
Okay. And then my other question, or really just comment for whatever revision, if you would consider it, and Ryan pointed this out too. It's also on sheet 3. I think if you look at the area that we've designated for the Jefferson salamanders there, the title block, we have this, what I know to be the concrete hatch. That's those little triangles that they're concrete hatches. But on the previous versions, we have this line type identified for the wetlands and the 100-foot wetland setback. And then here we just have this hatched area that says Jefferson salamander. And I would suggest that in the final drawing that gets kicked out, that we fix that. It would be clearer if the boundary of the habitat is labeled and the buffer is labeled on this sheet. It would just be clearer, because right now it just looks like a thing floating in space. That's all. That was my comment about the sheet 3.
We're $7,000 into this survey, Todd. And the surveyor, when I picked up these survey sheets today, said that the requirements of this developmental review board seemed absolutely absurd to him and far in excess of what he had expected for any other town. And he specifically said that things like requiring town culverts with their dimensions that run underneath Gravelin Road that are the town responsibility and not the responsibility of the landowner, and requiring that each abutting landowner have the land labeled as the use, be it residential or whatever other use, when those lands are off our land, have nothing to do with us. But for us to keep going back and revising and running up the surveyor's time and costs seemed to him excessive. Adding the Jefferson salamanders at all has already caused like 2 revisions. Please, I would respectfully ask that we leave the Jefferson salamanders where they are right now.
and so, and when we have the next thing the planning commission is doing, and I understand this to be the case, Ryan, is they've talked about updating the subdivision bylaws. What you see here, the checklist that's here and the things that Ryan's reviewed, those are all just in the subdivision regulations. So to the extent that I can offer you any help with that would be when the planning commission digs into it, come and provide your thoughts on that because they're meaningful. I don't necessarily disagree with the idea, although I will tell you that if the surveyor wants to do just the boundary survey and doesn't want to do anything else and then wants to complain about it, he wouldn't find a sympathetic ear with me. Those are the subdivision regulations. They're sitting there online. He can look at them. We haven't asked for anything that's not on them. And so I'm not so much interested in his complaints about the work he had to do.
So you're saying that we need to do something else with the Jefferson salamanders. And I don't quite understand what it is that we need to do.
All I was saying is that in the actual, let me just get to the sheet.
This is sheet 3 of 3, I think. Correct.
Yeah. That if you're looking at this map and you're just trying to make sense of it, that in the case of the sheet one shows the wetland boundary, and it shows 100-foot offset from the wetland boundary. So it makes, it's very, sheet one, I'm just giving you an example. If you look at sheet one in the legend, there's a line type that shows the 100-foot setback. See the upper right 100-foot setback from the wetland?
Yes.
Okay. So that when you look at the map, you see here's the wetland, here's the 100-foot setback that the bylaws show. It's crystal clear. Okay. Then when I got to sheet 3 and I'm looking at sheet 3, where it shows the Jefferson, again, all the information's already there, but that it says Jefferson salamander. It makes me worried that you're showing too big of an area for the salamander. What you mean to say is there's the habitat and then there's 100-foot buffer to it. That's what I was just trying to point out.
It's already listed on sheet 1. We did sheet 3 with the request to show the deer wintering and these. But
I got it.
Sheet 1 is the certified.
Yep. So as I read that, I was just, trying to clarify that what would make it clearer for this drawing page. That's it.
Look at sheet 2 just to see how much of this land is dedicated to wildlife.
Rare, threatened, and endangered.
But
And we specified the species.
yeah, I'm gonna ask you, Todd, and the board, and I'm not a board member. This is exactly the kind of detail that will frustrate our efforts, and it is already, you said, crystal clear on sheet 1.
We really tried. And
So-
we made sheet 3 at the specific request of this board. I'm done.
Okay.
So I say, Todd, I want you to really consider whether you are gonna require sheet 3 to have further, map work done. It costs us money, it costs our consultant time. If it is in the interest of this board to put its citizens through this process at this level of detail, please proceed. But if it is in your power to not go that extra step, I highly recommend that.
Good. Does anybody else have any questions? Any other questions?
I actually don't understand what you're asking for, Todd, because it's on sheet 1. What, oh, I
think,
can't read.
I think, and I'll, let me be more specific. I was trying to be helpful because I think the applicant is showing something that it is not in their best interest to do. And I tried to be specific in doing that. And I agree with you that the information shown on sheet 1. And then for some reason, the surveyor has diverged from that on this sheet 3 and is not showing the boundary of the habitat, and it's not showing the buffer. It's showing everything as one big blob. So when someone picks this up later, they have the chance to misinterpret it. If you want to leave it like this, Grace and Randy, I could care less, but I think you shouldn't, because it's misleading. But it doesn't make any difference to me. I was trying to be helpful. So to the extent that someone who's trying to be helpful can shoot themselves in the foot, I guess I just did.
I appreciate your concern. I feel that the ambiguity that you referenced between sheets 3 and 1 would get the detail exam needed should a future development project be proposed for this land. And I trust the future people who would deal with that, who are not going to be us, will be able to sort that out. Sheet 1 clearly shows the correct siting of the wetlands and the 100-foot boundary. And so I do not, on my end, feel a need to protect my interests by sending this back to the surveyor for further clarification of those borders. Thank you.
So I have just a question. When you use the plat, you'll always, since it's 1, 2, and 3 of 3, there's never a situation where 3 of 3 would be used independently, because even legally, you would always have to reference sheet 1 because there's not necessarily anything on the other sheets. 1 is the required sheet, because you don't even need 2 and 3 if you.
No, these
Yeah,
were done at your
that's-
suggestion.
That's
important.
so.
I'm letting you
Sheet
say that.
1 is the only, like, really the legal thing. Is that? But 2 and 3 are just like, because this one blinds it out and this one blinds that out. So you need to supplement, right? Supplement, yeah. You wouldn't consider the 1 at a time, or set.
Yeah.
1 or 2, 1 or 3.
If you're closer look at some of them. The 1 we find that.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd, I see the potential possibility maybe of some confusion with people referencing sheets 2 and 3, but it appears that 1 is the authoritative sheet and the others are there in support of that to make it more legible, easier to interpret.
Okay, are there any more comments? I think we're getting to the end. Does anybody have anything else they want to add, or anything that we missed procedurally from me being out of the room?
Question to make sure everyone's on the same page, regarding these 3 pages. What is being recorded on Mylar as far as the permit goes, in the parcel file will go all three sheets together, and in the land records they'll all be referenced together. But typically, there's one final plat that gets recorded on Mylar that's searchable in the survey records. And so I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page, because I'm not sure where everyone is on, whether it's just sheet one that's getting recorded on Mylar or all three.
We'd be happy to have all three recorded. We have no preference. I deeply appreciate the board's suggestion that we do a detailed sheet of the road frontage. Because I think this board was completely 100% helpful in saying that sheet one, it was too hard to see the detail of what we were proposing with the road. And the right of way access.
Can you record all three? I mean, is there an added cost or what?
Yes, it would be $35 per Mylar, I believe.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So that Grace and Randy and then Ryan, to answer your question, ideally we would get to a place with these where, like as I was describing to the Whitmores, we would have a drawing that showed what the survey prepared. That would be drawing one. And then during the hearing, we would have exhibits to cover these other items. The exhibits, drawing sheet 2 and 3 here, would include all those things that we want to see, like the wetlands and the significant natural communities. Those could be on exhibits. They need not be on the boundary survey plat. So I think in this case, because we want to be sensitive to their interactions with their surveyor, it would perhaps be the most streamlined to leave the 3 drawing sheets as they are. And they would be and we would Mylar them.
I mean,
We need sheet 1.
have a line of utility access.
We need sheet 2. Sheet 3 is really adds just the deer wintering area, right? And there's nothing on there that's different than the deer wintering area. So that could be an exhibit. In my mind, I think that could be an exhibit. But if we want to just do it as a Mylar to simplify it for everybody, we could certainly do that.
Administrative, that's an administrative decision.
So I think we can end with that, Ryan. If there's some advantage to the applicant not making a Mylar for sheet 3, that'd be fine with me.
We're happy to do all 3 sheets as Mylars, because if they say 1 of 2, 2 of 1 of 3, then somewhere down the road, someone's going to say, well, where are the other sheets? So.
Yep.
Okay. So I think last call for questions or comments before we close the hearing.
We would be very happy to add a line saying that we would like utility access to go over the 50-foot right of way. And thank you for that suggestion. It's a helpful suggestion.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I move to close the hearing.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I heard everybody and I'll say aye. Thank you guys. I appreciate your hard work. And I appreciate the work the surveyor did. I'm sorry if it was you got pushback on it.
The goal is the end is in sight. I hope.
And you have visitors coming. We do. It's not on the list.
But what if you salamander look like?
Oh,
I want this one.
I want this one.
I didn't hear Andrea's question.
What do these salamanders look like? Cause
They're fairly short, about 4 inches. They're not as long as those beautiful black and yellow spotted ones. And what is very striking, you see very commonly your newts and your red-backed salamanders. They don't move fast. Jeffersons are very fast. They're qualitatively a very different animal. They swim
What color is
beautifully.
what color are they?
Kind of a dun brown, black, very dark. Colored.
So they just don't have the yellow in it, that's how I.
No.
But they have these raised silvery spots in 2 lines down their back.
I've always noticed
So they have the
yellow
base
ones.
color, but these sort of shiny raised silvery spots.
Yeah.
In 2 lines on either side.
Striking.
Fine.
I always have black and yellow one. I didn't see them.
That's the yellow spotted.
Yeah.
Here, I'm on the picture for you. There's the Jeffersons.
Oh, I've never seen anything like that. I've only seen her. Those are pretty. Ooh.
You and Beth have different tastes in salamanders.
You're hard to catch.
Well, I don't mind slimy. I love doing slimy things. I just don't think they're particularly pretty.
I just like the blue, it's a nice.
Mm. Are you gonna join us for the rest of the meeting or you've had it with us?
Well, what are you all gonna do?
We have to approve the meeting minutes
Go do your.
and then we're gonna go get ice cream.
I can't approve the meeting minutes because I didn't go to that meeting, right?
You can still vote on it, but you're
I was
probably
thinking
down
last
with
week.
us.
Okay, thank you so much. I think. Ready?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, on that sale, I know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck at your open house.
Thank you.
And an open house.
Yeah, I have no open house. She said, bring your checkbook and your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
You know,
know.
Michael said bring your checkbook. He
Oh.
said.
Yeah, but that's before he told me the listing price, so I probably have to bring 2 checkbooks.
It's exciting.
Okay, I will be back to join you as a member in July, and thank you so much.
Okay.
So.
Good night.
Good night.
Check, yeah. Everything, check what I leave behind.
I know.
Approval of meeting minutes.
You're right. So I read through them and they look good to me. I didn't really have any comments.
What?
What?
This, Ryan, this is the second time Ryan's killing it.
He is killing, he's good. Well, you.
I want to make sure in these minutes that you capture me getting chewed out by Grace and Randy. Please
Absolutely.
highlight that.
Yeah, will do.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. I have to behave. Okay, I made a motion to approve the minutes. I don't know if you heard me.
I didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
Did someone
second.
second it? Okay. All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay. All right. So we have a couple other items: protecting personal information, updates from the land use administrator. I think, and rules of procedure for protecting personal information. Ryan, as I understand, I mean, we've changed a little bit. Now you're just emailing us the packet, and Michael and you are going to get together maybe on how things get arranged there or organized?
We met last week, and set up a SharePoint site, and tried to, we populated it with some folders related to the hearings, and tried to, it's a SharePoint site that's under the town's account. We tried sharing it with, Michael as an external member, and had some difficulty with him joining. He was able to get in through his Microsoft account. But if there's a member who doesn't have a Microsoft account, then we haven't resolved that yet. But we did set it up, figured out how we might organize files and things like that. And then it's a matter of figuring out how to get everyone access to it.
Yeah, basically, we need a guinea pig to go through the process where Ryan adds your email address to the new site. And the site generates an email to you, and then you have to go through whatever that authentication process is, which we weren't able to replicate because I already had a Microsoft account, so it defaulted to that.
Well, if you want to send it to me, I mean, I have a Microsoft, well, I have Microsoft, the packet, Windows and everything. Are you talking about that?
Well, do you have a subscription to Microsoft 365?
Yeah,
Okay, then you have a Microsoft account
No.
to manage that, so you're okay.
not everybody has that.
So let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. Is it possible, did you guys look into using the, this company account, but getting a email for the town?
We asked the question, and basically they said that there is a cost to each account, and this was, I feel like this was a couple months ago that it came up, and Brandon was basically like, we can't incur extra.
Yeah,
but
but this, we don't need to.
At least 100 accounts on this.
No, they have smaller increments. I mean, I think they started like 5 users,
Oh,
and it goes up incrementally.
So that would mean every board member, and I have 365, I'll always have it. But what if the board member doesn't have it?
I don't, I use Google Docs. so-
Right, that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
so
if you
we
want,
think,
just send Andrew
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
email.
Me.
we think it could be done, but we haven't figured out.
Mhm.
We haven't seen it, so we can't tell you how it works.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, you know, any future member or any, alternate, that way we,
Even if you had a town email account, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have a Microsoft 360 account, which, so,
see, I was
I'm not sure
hoping
the email would,
had it, that it would just fall into all of the other.
yeah, yeah.
okay.
I think there should be a fairly simple way to add you as an external user. We just haven't gone down the road. And IT is less than helpful.
And
Well,
it's shared.
you wanna
it's the-
get together again?
Yeah, I think we should, but we would need, I feel like we need to work with Andrea
Yeah,
there.
Yeah. and then
yeah, I
I'm
mean, just have to
assuming
do it
that's just-
successfully once, then we know how it works, and then,
Yeah, so if we can set up a meeting with the three of us, then.
So,
So I think I was just going to say from my standpoint, so if you emailing us the packet, that worked fine. I mean, it feels more secure for the applicant and it worked on my end until we get the sharing system sorted out.
yeah, that works fine for me. I've just learned that I have to download everything and save it on my computer, otherwise it goes away. Because it's never on the website. It's just a change of my behavior, but if we're gonna talk about personal, I don't know, if I'm the minority, I get it, but I'm still don't like the idea of having nothing on the website. I just don't feel like that's open government.
Yeah, I think that there's actually policies in the open process that you have to have a certain amount publicly available.
So I don't know if we need to research that, or maybe that's the select board's job. I don't know, I'm a big proponent of open government, and I feel like we're making it hard for people to participate. I would like to find a way to compromise.
So I think when we were talking before, Grace had concerns about just all the different exhibits and stuff that contain personal information. I think the vast majority of that, like contact information for DiBarnardo Associates, that's all, I don't think that that's protected information that we need to be redacting. I think it's really just the application itself that has personal email and phone number. And if those are the only places, if the application is the only place that shows up, then that's easy enough to redact and then publicize everything else. I haven't come across another exhibit that I felt needed to be redacted. I think I did in the Uric packet just because it was the first time going through it and finding phone numbers and things. But I think for the most part, all of those aren't exactly the same as personal information.
Yeah.
So
So if it's just the application that has some information to be redacted, is it possible to change the form so that PII is on a separate sheet
That's what.
rather than having it redact, which is error prone?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I'm looking at the summary page of yours where it says applicant and there's the name. Do we necessarily require the name on that sheet since it's part of a packet where we already have the address, which is, you know, they can get off Google.
Mhm.
But the name specifically is the one that got Grace and both of these ladies because they used their name as association.
Well, I don't think the name on its own doesn't do anything. It's the contact information that goes with it. And I think the applicant information is one of the more sort of public pieces of the puzzle, because their applicant name is gonna be represented that way in the decision and on the permit and everything.
Doesn't have to be.
I think you have to identify who the applicant
On the
is
decision,
specifically,
on the decision.
because they'll be named as an interested party.
Mhm.
So I think names don't need to be redacted. I don't think that that's sensitive information. It's the contact information. I mean, address kind of, but that's all. The biggest scam would be a mailing situation. It's not the same as a digital.
I think the issue that we're reacting to is the fact that it's so easy to scan a web page which has the full application on it with all the details that wouldn't otherwise be readily available without going to the town office.
Mhm.
All right, we're not talking about PII here. I don't think any of this falls into that category. It's just, especially now with AI, it just facilitates the process of going out and gathering all this information and putting it into a very convincing email. We can't protect people from themselves.
So I have a question for you. If you look at tonight's application at the night packet that was emailed to us, there's nothing there.
No.
There's no phone number. So do you think that would be safe? You're the expert, I think.
So if that's gathered all that same information, but didn't have the email address.
Yeah.
That's
just information that they can't do anything with.
No, it's still out there. It's all out there. And with AI, quickly and easily compile it. You can compile it.
Are you saying that their information is out there somewhere else?
Yeah, your email address,
Sure.
your phone number, your physical address.
So what you're saying is it doesn't make a difference whether we redact that?
No, that's
So-
not PII.
Okay, so it's the application information.
Yeah.
And
Wait, okay.
do you think that it's not be publicized, the application information? Is that what you're saying?
If you're gonna redact anything,
Is it windy there? Is he breathing hard? That's fine. So what specific information would need to be removed from here? Maybe
well, again,
the name?
if what makes that scam work is the ability to compose an authoritative, authentic looking email and forge the from email address so that people who are busy, distracted, get their minds on other things, are in a hurry, whatever, don't pause to verify and just respond to it.
Right, so what needs to be removed? I'll ask again, are you saying the names need to be removed?
Now, if you take away,
The application number?
if you take away the individual address, if it's different from the property address,
Uh-huh.
take away the email and the phone number, all you're doing is slowing people down, not by much. It's still gonna happen. You know,
So should we do anything, or should we just go ahead?
I don't see any
They're
benefit.
confusing me. So what you're saying, if they can get everyone's email just from their name, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get their phone number, you get their address, their databases out there.
So something that might make people feel secure, because like with the Whitmore, she's not the landowner specifically. So if the application, so I'm looking property information, the parcel ID, that's all easy public information. The parcel information and the landowner is easy to find out if you Google it. The applicant is one that I would say might be PII, because that's a different person, because that's who they're going for. So if you don't have it publicly accessible to know who the applicant is, because it may not be the landowner, because the last couple of months it wasn't the landowner.
Mhm.
So if we have that, just the applicant blackbarred on what we post online, that's not really information that if someone's like, oh, hey, I know where that house is, that's right next door to me, I want to go to this. They're not going to care who the applicant is. They can call you and say, who is this applicant? I can't see it online, but that land is my next door neighbor.
Mhm.
Do you see what I mean? Because then that's that one level of protection where by not knowing the applicant information, they don't know who to put on the request letter. But and then it's just going to say WHI or whatever, on the permit number.
Yeah, so
And you know what I mean? It can just be like a black bar that it's a quick and easy, because that's the thing, it's gonna be time consuming. So if it can just be a one-shot deal, whatever's there, it's just,
so what I'm hearing is if we remove the applicant name, we could even remove the other contact information. But it sounds like what Michael's saying is that's not gonna really protect anybody.
It's gonna slow them down.
it's gonna slow them down. They're not gonna know who's applying, and they're not gonna know who to put on that sender letter. They wouldn't have known in Grace's situation that she was the applicant. And if they had her husband's name, or like, let's say it was a trust, like this one was a trust, it was a wrong name. And if they put that name in there, she'd be like, oh, hold on, what is this? So it would have made somebody pause, because they would have had to guess. And so is I stop them, but it would certainly make
Yeah.
someone pause, because they don't know who applied.
Okay,
But aren't these aren't people doing this, this is a computer program.
No, they're people.
Well, no, there are people behind.
Mhm.
But are they actually, I thought.
Yeah, it's
Well, you can do it two ways. One, you can do it manually, or you can automate it.
Yeah, okay. I assumed it was all automated. Okay.
so
But functionally, it doesn't matter. It's the same problem.
So are we in agreement that if we redact the applicant name, email and phone number, the town at least is doing its part to protect itself and the residents or the
I
applicants?
think so for sure.
I think it's enough. There's,
Yeah.
it's so much you can do.
Right.
You know, I mean, you have to be so careful these days.
I mean, email and phone number, I think for sure.
And.
Okay, so that's easy enough. And then one other question on that. What I typically do is I get the application as it's submitted. I don't make any changes, and then I make a copy of that, and that's the one that I edit. I might add things to it, put the application number or whatever. That's the one I would redact. Is simply doing an Adobe redact tool function, is that enough, or can that be like?
Not if you're.
The safest way is to cover it up
Mhm.
physically.
Okay, like
Like,
scan.
because you have to scan it, don't you, Ryan? Like you physically take the application and scan it?
Usually, if it comes into me in digital form, I usually won't print it, but if that's the redaction process, then that's what I would do.
That would be the simplest, straightforward, print a copy, black it out,
Mhm.
and then scan that page.
Or doing it your redacted thing, and then you're gonna print it because it's redacted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then when you're scanning everything in, it's a separate
There's
document.
just been way too many situations where people have used electronic digital redacting tools that
Mhm.
were not bulletproof.
Yeah.
Because they
Right.
can deconstruct the
They're away.
redaction portion.
Okay.
But if it's just a one document, that's, was that called remerge the layers?
I have a question. We need this application and we should keep it on file, but do we actually have to post the application? Why can't we just have a separate little digital thing that you do with the,
My administrative summary in theory should cover everything that's included in the application.
okay,
So
Okay.
we could just avoid that.
I was just wondering if we had to have the application on there at all. You've got this letter.
I don't think
Yeah,
there's,
right. You do your notice of public hearing. When I look at the notice of public hearing, it does a great job. This is the parcel number. This is where it is, right? And then you do your administrative summary. I sort of that is another elegant way to do it.
so we could just take the application out of the packet.
I don't see why not. And then you're not redacting and you're not adding work to yourself other than remembering not to include it.
The applicant name, should that come off of the administrative summary?
You could
Yes.
use just,
Just put the numbers with the WHI.
Okay, don't need the landowner either. Because that can all be presented to the board as testimony instead.
I think I follow you, yeah.
with the
I,
land.
I really think so, because what do we want the public to know? We want the public, we want them to know there's this application for this thing that's happening, right? That's the most important part. And if we can get your review to identify those bits of information, the fact that it's Camilla or 863 Upper Falls Road, it's not material to the public knowing that this application is coming for a 42 lot subdivision, right? That's the scary part that we need to keep the public in.
This is very relevant.
Yeah,
The property address, yes.
But what about in situations where the applicant and the landowner are different? Does that matter? A lot of times we ask that the landowner sign off on an application so that we know that they're giving approval for this external.
I think it matters in the hearing, but as far
That
as
can
what
just
the
be
public
stated.
sees on the website, if they want to see the whole thing, they gotta come
You
in.
could take the names off
Uh-huh.
on the website,
So-
but I would hesitate to not put the application in
Oh,
because many times we've referred to the application.
I think the other thing is sometimes if I'm trying to interpret the application, I could make an incorrect assumption about what it is, which is why it's good to have their written description of what they say they're gonna
Because
do.
we've had a few where they were like, oh, no, see where I did this, or they'll change it, or
Mhm.
they were like completely off and like marked everything. Do you remember we had a couple like that? And we just,
Yeah,
and then it was something that was like in the very beginning.
I think the other thing it does
2
is
years ago.
the application has where they're agreeing to all these different things.
Yeah,
And I think that's kind of an important piece of
I
evidence.
think it's,
all right, so what if you emailed that to us, but not put it on the website?
Yeah,
So we had it.
you still could, you just, and where it says applicant, there's just a black block there. There's nothing there. It's just a black box, and then landowner names black box. So everything that shows is just the address of the permit, which is public information and required, I think, to be disclosed. I think that's the only thing we need. We don't need to know, the public doesn't need to know who the applicant is, only the property that's referenced.
Mhm.
And they don't need to know who the landowner is, because it's still just the property that's referenced.
Mhm.
Because that doesn't make a change if it's a accessory structure or what, nobody cares who the owner is, it's just the property.
Mhm.
You'd have to take off the payment too, so it has their name. If you're gonna take the name off the application, the next page is the.
They can edit that though, I think. Isn't it on the tape where the receipts show?
I think it's automatically generated. The ones that we use are a digital one.
But
receipt.
those can be, I think.
I mean, I could edit it in Adobe.
No, I think that they can be, because there's when they put in town of Weathersfield and they put those labels in there, I mean, I have to call, but there's a settings for those. for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, yeah.
Or you could just say,
I don't know if that's easy to change, but I'm sure that there is somebody somewhere out there.
It's been changed.
No.
I would like to add too for that, the payment receipts almost to me feels like we don't need them at all. They're not going to they're not going to get all the way to us if they haven't paid you, right, Ryan? Like
yeah,
so I sort of, when I come into this hearing, I assume that they've already paid, or you would have said, we can't have this hearing, right?
It's more important piece of information for me.
I
Okay.
think more is that, that it's been warned. Because when it goes to an appeal, that's the first question they're gonna ask is, when was this warned? And it's not part of the packet, and that's something you're gonna have to search for.
You mean something beyond the notice? Like
Well,
include
the
the tear
notice doesn't
sheet?
say that the hearing's been warned.
Yeah,
The notice just is a document that is internal.
okay. How do we provide evidence that they've been posted in each location
Don't
on a
they-
certain day?
Well, I don't think that matters. I think only the warning, because it's a presumption if you have you're paying money to do a warning, that the rest is good.
You mean the in the newspaper
Yeah,
part?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I include the tear sheet,
It's not called a warning.
the public
Yes,
notice.
Yeah. I mean, because they send you back, when you pay it, they send you that little thing, you print that sheet, and because there's no names on that either, it just shows.
Well, there doesn't have to be. You're right, yeah, there's no names.
Because it should just be the permit
Application.
number and the address.
Yeah.
Would show up on the newspaper.
I think it used to have the applicant name, but stopped him. Okay, I think I understand. We will remove the applicant information on the application. We will remove the receipt. And we will include the tear sheet from when it was
And the
published.
landowner.
And the what?
And the landowner.
Remove
So
that.
Just the average.
From your summary, just take
Oh,
out
from
the same info. So everything that we've talked about is spot on. And then just make sure you also do that on your administrative summary.
With the permit number, it all merges up. If we're not sure, we can look at what the permit number is.
Yep. Right. We haven't lost track of like our train of thought of who these applicants are. It's not right. We're
No.
when someone's in the hearing, I think we do a pretty good job of flowing through things and going through it all. And interestingly enough, to the extent that we were truly a deliberative body, we would almost be blind to who the applicant was, right? So
Exactly.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I think let's just keep this on the agenda because I really feel like it's important and we're learning lots of new things from everybody. Let's leave it there. The rules of procedure, let's skip. If everybody would dig into that though, because I know over the last year we've had lots of comments about it. So if anybody wants to dig into that a little bit, let's move that one forward.
Everyone has a copy.
What?
Yes, I have a copy. It's basically the revised rules and procedures that we talked about a couple of years ago. It's just with what we talked about. Okay. And why are we going over this again? You just want to do?
Because we're supposed to do it once a year.
Oh, okay. Oops.
There you go.
Okay, that's good.
And there's certain things like we might change our meeting date. And there's certain things like that Andrea's brought up over the last year and a half, like, we should really do this or this. Well, the way it becomes something that I do is to make that to be baked into the rules of procedure. Yeah. So let's keep that on the agenda. Update from Ryan about the planning commission. Is anything different at the planning commission?
So they canceled their meeting, I guess it was last week, it would have been, there wasn't enough people, board members going. But that was the first time that we put an agenda to packet together that had, information on changing the bylaws. So if you took a look at that packet, what you'd see is, sort of my thoughts on how the sort of structure and framework of the bylaws could be changed on a very sort of high level, to make them more clear and simple for people to understand, and utilize standards. It's sort of a first pass at sort of the beginning of it. It doesn't get into any of the detailed bylaws that we have existing, but more presents a different way to think about them. And so I think what I was going to do was present that as sort of let that sit in the back of the board's mind for a little bit. And then I think we're going to talk about more like a Band-Aid approach, where there's some bylaws that are not serving people, and such as a good example is the steep slope one, where we've had multiple applications, and I know that there's applicants out there who want to be able to cross a short section of steep slope to access a level part of their land up higher, that currently can't. So there's a number of things that I've identified as I think are sort of like either low-hanging fruit or biggest bang for your buck type Band-Aids for now, because the whole restructuring of the bylaws is a really big conversation that's going to take a long time. So that's sort of the trajectory that I think they're going to go, but I don't know. We haven't had a meeting since the last town plan hearing. Also, the town plan hearing, they had one at the select board last night, opened and closed it, and the second of two required hearings for the town plan will be at the select board on July 27th. And then hopefully we can move on and talk about bylaws and addressing subdivision regulations too. That's another thing that's on the list.
Did you get my email note? One thing that'll be helpful for the board, I think, in these, because we don't have new subdivision regulations, and we've been struggling with what to do with these parcels that people are subdividing and not developing on, was the idea of us creating some waiver language so the board would feel comfortable creating these parcels and maybe not need to ask so much. Like what does Todd have to do with salamanders and pissing off Grace, right? Like, I have no interest in that. So, but we do need some language. Like, we have the waiver of development rights that goes with the state water wastewater permit. And what we don't have is the waiver of development rights from the town of Weathersfield, because the waiver that's in the subdivision regulations is sort of permanent. And I don't think we want that. So if anybody has any language they want to suggest, let's get it out there. Ryan, if you want to take a crack at the idea, that would be really helpful, because we have 3 applications right now that we need it for all of them.
Right. Yeah.
So I have a comment. I don't know if anybody's, in your downtime read like Springfield's. No, somebody.
No.
What?
Springfield's
Oh.
zoning, but they're actually really well written. They break down when they're talking about development review. They say if this parcel is this and this and this, and it meets these parameters, then it will be approved. If it doesn't meet these parameters, this is where it can vary. If not, it'll be denied. It's real specific, and it makes sure that everybody is the same. Everybody is, it helps to kind of overcome that gray area a little bit, because then the applicant can look at it and go, oh yeah, there's no way this is happening. Or, it meets it, I need a variance, so, okay. So for the most part, these are things I need to do. Puts everybody on the same kind of understanding when they walk in here, knowing that they have to convince that this landscaping is appropriate, but the other things they know they meet on the rules or guidelines. So
Mhm.
I really liked that aspect because it makes it really clear for everyone. And as far as the administrative side. And the second thing I'll mention, and this is kind of a wrench in things that, if anybody's fans of the bills, anybody read
The what?
the state bills? The governor just signed a couple of bills into law that affect the housing, the approvals, the amount of like 4 family homes on a home that qualifies for a single family, we cannot deny on any land use anywhere where a single family home can be approved, then a 4-family home in the same envelope can be, there's a lot that is different from what we have right now, so.
I thought that was only for areas that had wastewater.
It expands, the executive order that he did, they've kind of converted a lot of that into now law in order to promote that housing growth and development.
So you no longer have to have municipal water for that.
Some of them you don't.
Some
I
of
don't know if
So-
every piece of it, but there's a big factor is yes, municipal covers certain areas, but then on other ones, it opens it up even on rural. It's opening those.
I think what you're referring to is the structure itself, like a multi-unit dwelling.
Yes.
Which is different than the Home Act and the Home Act 2 or whatever they called it. Which basically was talking about density, and you have to allow for a certain number of units on a certain acreage if it's connected to all those facilities. So at some point, even before the Home Act, they required that a duplex be allowed on any piece of land where a single family is allowed. And it sounds like that's what they're doing instead of a duplex now. Maybe it's fourplex or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 4412, 4414, and amended. Where it says municipalities bylaws shall not limit these things. So we really got to look through those because that's effective 1 July.
And that's all stuff in the town plan too, where we basically have said that there's districts like the rural residential 1 that prohibits multifamily dwellings. And so in the town plan, we've said we want to not be doing that, especially in those areas.
Yes, we have to match it. That fun stuff.
So we've had just another issue that's come up, and I just want to, if anybody has any thoughts, but just to leave you with this, Ryan, again, we talked about making sure the applications are complete. We've issued a decision now for the police station, for example. And I think that what the board has sort of, come to believe is that when the application's not complete, it becomes so frustrating for us in the deliberation and the writing of the decision as to almost be impossible to make progress on. And this board spent like dozens of hours on this last one because it wasn't complete. And I think the takeaway from that is, well, although we've talked about applications being complete before, I think that I'm at the point now where if an application isn't complete and we get to the hearing, then I'm just going to close the hearing or continue the hearing. So because it's not time that I'm willing to give to try and struggle through every little single part of an application and try and figure out what workarounds we can do, right? It doesn't work for me anymore. I don't know if the board has any thoughts on that, but this last one was really, really hard for us.
And for me, I like ask questions and talk to anybody. I'm like, I don't understand. What? And then Mike did that update. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. it was just confusing. I had several versions and then I couldn't understand where we were going or how to move forward. I just couldn't. It was difficult and I couldn't take a stab at it because I didn't know how to change things up. But you did such an amazing job of really breaking down what we were all saying into,
Thank you.
into
Well,
Yeah, and
Well,
so I also don't want Ryan to get embarrassed if it happens in a hearing. So this is because that's embarrassing, and it I think that to the extent that that helps you be firmer with the applicants.
So you close the hearing
Say that one
without,
more time.
is that what you're saying?
I didn't hear you.
That it would be embarrassing for you to close the review, close the hearing before the review. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if the application's not complete and we get all the way to the hearing, we're,
Mhm.
I'm going to open the hearing and say, this application isn't complete. I'm closing the hearing.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
mean,
and that's just, that's going to be embarrassing for,
well, maybe, but I think that's to the app. I mean, this was a unique situation where it was the town directing me to warn this hearing on this day. And, they controlled my job, so I did. So I don't disagree with the board's decision and I don't disagree with you to close the hearing if you don't think that it's appropriate. Sometimes I think we disagree on what would be a complete application and what the board can and can't work with. But I think you absolutely, as a board, should do what you believe to be true.
Well, is there a way to evaluate an application for that? Is it ready before it gets to the hearing?
I think, yes, in theory, but what it all comes down to is the amount of time I have to process everything. And then, we're talking about changing review procedures and bylaws and all this kind of stuff. And so the work product goes down with the less time that's available. For example, this Whittemore one that was incomplete. They had sent me a plat and it sat there for 2 or 3 weeks while I processed these hearings, did minutes and all kinds of different things. And so when Grace came in with her final thing, and said, this is the date that I hope to be on the agenda for, I said, okay, I think I can do the review and get it done. And so I warned, and it looked pretty complete. So I warned the hearing, realized that the Whittemores also need their final plat. So I warned the hearing for that, saying, okay, we have 20 days for me to review it, tell them what needs to be changed if things need to be changed. And that's just the way that it tends to go. They could, we could, as a town and as a land use department, do a really poor job of customer service and trying to help get people through this painful process and make it take 2 or 3 times longer by saying it can just sit on my desk until I get a chance to review it. And so I'm trying to find a happy medium between, I want everything to be perfect for the board. It's unrealistic if the applicant is ever going to get to the board. So if you don't have the information that you need to do the review, I think you need to continue the hearing or close the hearing or don't consider it. But I think it helps the applicant understand what they're up against, because I can only say the board is really strict on these things and they're really going to want to know what the drainage is like. And these are people who are like, I'm not going to get an engineered plan for drainage. All I'm trying to do is build my shed or whatever. And so we're that threshold working between those two ideals. So I do my best to get everything as complete as I can, extract as much information and put as much of their time and money into a complete application. And then I send it here and I say, the board might not be happy with it, but I think they'll approve it. And that's just how it's been. So if the board starts to close hearings or deny more things, then I think I'll have that much more to be able to say they're going to deny it, But I think we should be cooperative and realize that it's not going to be perfect when it comes here either.
Well, maybe that's the piece of leverage you need with the applicants. You can say, here's what's needed.
Mm-hmm.
And they come to you and there are gaps. And you tell them, look, I recommend you fill the gaps. Because the board may very well either close or continue the meeting, and you'll have to go back again.
Mhm.
Type of thing, and it's make it their choice.
Right.
Give them options.
And right, so it is, and then they come here, and then the board decides to not continue, they'll close it, they'll issue a decision with a lot of conditions, and then tell me how painful it is for them to work on the decision like that. So if it was true that the board will close it or deny it or not hear the application, then there's some substance to what I have to say.
I think that goes back to the, again, what we were talking about with the, procedures. If we had those standards where this is what we're expecting, if you're deviating from that, they might approve it, they may not, but this is what they're looking for in the standards. Do you have this? Do you have this? Just like with the plat, you can go, look, this is our bylaws, or this is what's required on the plat. They might deviate from that, but that's up to you to take a shot. That way it's off of you. And then you don't have to analyze everything, because you can like, there you go, man.
Right.
This is what they're requiring. These are the standards. This is what they're gonna look at. And if you meet all of these, it's approved.
Yeah.
Super easy. It kind of puts it more black and white and less gray area, because I think you have a lot of maybe. So you can't just definitively say, oh, that's an easy one. Absolutely.
Right, well, and so like, for example, we had the sketch plan notes for the Whittemore thing. I gave them that, and then I did my review of their thing, and I gave them that and said, these are the things that you didn't do, you should do these. And then they didn't even they come in here and say, oh, I didn't notice this and that. And so the board continued. So I think you're sort of helping back me up, because I can only hold them up for so long. And that's another example of the third surveyor who has told me directly that they're no longer going to be working in Weathersfield because of how painful the process is. So for the 3 or 4 years that I've been here, I've been administering a difficult and sort of arduous process and trying to refine it a little bit. And we're finally, now the town plan took a year and just said, we can't improve the process until this town plan's done. But so we're finally starting to look at changing the bylaws to make them work better, and the subdivision regulations to try and make the process smoother and more clear. But we're all trying to and Todd does a good job of going through all these details that basically the board and myself are to take these bylaws and regulations and apply them literally. And the problem isn't necessarily us being particular as much as the bylaws not being flexible enough to accommodate the varying I guess degrees of intensity of development. So I think improving the regulations will go a long way, but that's still a ways out, and just doing the best we can.
But in the interim, we can still approve our procedures on the board, and to say, if we do a plat review, here's the list. You don't get a hearing until you can go, yes, all those things are done. And if you're just helpful, yes, but saying, okay, I can help you, but did you do all these things? Because then I can schedule you. Not until that. If you have that, I guess, weight behind you to go, there's nothing I can do until you get that. Then it puts the pressure off you, because it's on them. I'd love to schedule that hearing for you, but until you complete those things, I just, my hands are tied. The board's not going to accept it. And that's a procedure. So it helps to kind of, I don't think the procedures really dive into that part of it.
Yeah, I think in theory that makes perfect sense, and just in practice it hasn't worked. Yeah, I agree. It should be that simple.
Something that sounds like you just need a clear, it's like, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but if you have a thing where you can just say, no, they're not gonna accept it, because that follows what Todd is saying, that it's not complete, we're gonna just reject it. Well, then we need to have the standard that says, these requirements from the board, you don't get another hearing until that's complete. And then leaving it up to your discretion, saying, unless the LOA this says that, he believes that it's complete enough to be considered. Then it's on you.
Yeah.
What do you think, Todd?
I think it's important for us, like us being the board and Ryan, to be thinking about that. Because while I'm sympathetic to the complaints that he gets from applicants about there being too much, like I feel like the process that you described, Andrea, for
Mhm.
how it is in Springfield, like it's the same way here. We're asking for like these same 6 things every time. It's not complicated. And Ryan and I and you and Beth and Michael, we could do one of these applications and have it complete. It would probably take us, like a little bit of time to do it, and it would be complete. So as long as I just wanted to encourage Ryan or remind Ryan that you have our support for making sure that the applicants are complete. The applicants are complete, and just a reminder that we're all volunteers, and so if you use us up, then you'll get what you get, and that you don't know, like, so if you have board members that you like, you might want to keep them.
Yeah, I mean,
He doesn't like it.
but it's the same way from the employment side, where if there's only so much time to do the job and there's not enough there, then something gives, and in a lot of places,
Yeah.
every aspect suffers to some degree.
I think you need more, I think the procedures is where we can help with that by locking in a little bit more specific standards from what Todd, you were saying that we needed.
Yeah.
That way it kind of takes the burden off of Ryan. He doesn't have to keep having these conversations. It's just come back when you have it done. And when they come back and go, is it done? Well, no, it's not done. I can't schedule your hearing yet. How can I, is there something you can do? Because generally it's not. It's just, they have to make that effort.
Yeah,
You're not-
we have that idea. We're getting better at the site plan review. We have this sort of guidance that we've given Ryan for him to consider. We haven't done that for subdivisions. And
Mhm.
if there are a couple surveyors that don't want to work here because we ask them to sketch a deer wintering yard, I mean, I just can't worry about that. Like the stuff that we what's that?
There's also only a few surveyors that are still surveying this area.
Right.
Yeah, they're
And-
all aging
And
out.
the exhibits that we're asking for, Ryan. Sorry. The exhibits that we're asking for, you don't need a surveyor for. So that, like, these things that are in the subdivision regulations, that, as I've said, we need a surveyor. Tell the surveyor to do the surveying, and then we could accept all these other exhibits. But the subdivision regulations for these easy subdivisions, if they can't hire, if the applicant isn't interested in hiring someone to put this other stuff together, then that's, I'm sympathetic to the surveyors being asked to put this stuff on their plans, but I'm not sympathetic to the applicant who is asking the surveyor to do all this. There are other ways to do these there to prepare a complete application for subdivision that don't require the surveyor to do everything. That's right.
Like who?
Like in my case, I can tell you when we do subdivisions, you have whoever else is involved in the project, like the engineer would do any project now that's had an engineer on it, they can do 90% of this in a heartbeat. It's all simple stuff. So very often I work with the surveyor and I would prepare most of the items on this list. I mean, that's just an example.
Yeah, I don't know if hiring an engineer in addition to their surveyor really solves their issue with the process, though.
Here's the
Well, it would
question.
solve their issue with their surveyor complaining like you're asking me to do all this stuff. Hire someone whose job it is to do that stuff on a regular basis. So maybe Grace is, what did she say, $7,000, right? If that's $5,000 of surveying and $2,000 of these exhibits, believe me, all these exhibits that we've asked to add certainly aren't $2,000 of engineering time. There's no way. So that would be another way that people could do it. And some of the exhibits are even like a deer wintering area. It's if it's so far away, then that data viewer that you're providing, the board probably would accept that for the deer wintering area if it's not near the proposed development.
Of the recent applications where they presented surveyors work product and we found inadequacies, were those inadequacies easily known to the surveyor? Or were there things that wouldn't necessarily be top of mind for them? They might not address them because they didn't think they were applicable.
Well, for one thing, like the abutting land uses, they grumble about that every time because they're like, what use is that to anyone? And the board's response has been, it's so simple, just throw it on there. And their response is, this is just unreasonable and doesn't use common sense. So they're two different viewpoints. It's just sort of frustration that builds, I guess.
But it's required by our bylaws, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so question is it reasonable to expect them to know that?
Yeah.
On the first go around?
I mean, it's on the checklist that they get right off the bat. It's on the
Okay,
application.
that's my point. So why should we be feeling bad about the fact that they aren't following the checklist? Now, if it wasn't on the checklist, that'd be a different story. But I think the frustration from everybody is the rework. But what is the root cause of needing to do the rework? Is it anything under our control? Or is it all on the surveyor, or is it somewhere in between?
Well, I think one thing, the bylaws could be changed to, for example, remove that thing.
Right, but no,
And so that's
it
something
is
that we
what it
can
is.
control,
Yeah,
the town.
but for what it is now, it's if that is on the checklist, they have,
Mhm.
and they're fully informed and they're not doing.
I'm not saying that we should have sympathy for them, other than it's a pretty good case study to see the surveyors who don't want to work here because of these things. And we're just like, they're just our rules, and you know about them. And I don't think anyone's wrong in that. It's just I'm sitting in a place where I recognize the tension, and it's a problem when we have people who don't want to work here because they think the process is
Now, is it more?
well done.
Well, it's obviously more work. They have to go out and do the research to identify all the joining property, right?
I suppose, yeah.
So maybe that's part of the reason why they're not doing it, hoping they can get away with it.
Well, I think it's probably not expected in other towns, maybe.
So
So
maybe
they have their
that's
sort of standard process. That's an additional couple of hours that they didn't build into their quote.
Yeah. Well, that could be your low hanging fruit. I don't know why we asked for a use. I
Right.
really don't.
And so I think
The others are gonna be notified.
yeah.
So,
I don't think in other towns, I don't think the bylaws are all that much better. And even when the planning commission was doing subdivisions here, we had the same bylaws. the review process was just way more relaxed and not very thorough. And so I appreciate Todd's perspective or his the thoroughness, because I think that we need to address all the things that are in our bylaws. And that's where we sit with we need to address all these things. And I think we need to change the bylaws to accommodate smaller projects that are more simple, that we maybe don't need to get an exhibit on all of these things.
And so that was getting to the core of my point before about the waiver language. That would be an easy way for us to do that. And it's just an example. And then when we've talked about at the Planning Commission, and when we've talked about the town plan, and we've talked about changing the zoning bylaws, each time when we're working on the next stage, it's exactly what I've tried to do is say, hey, let's try and make this easier. But we have these tools that we're working with. And I think, Ryan, it's totally fine I'm just telling you, it's okay for the surveyor to be frustrated, but maybe we need to encourage the surveyors to do the surveying part, and then encourage the applicant to, if they don't have a surveyor with that sort of 15-minute patience that it takes to navigate this, then they perhaps need to get someone else who can put information down on a piece of paper. And
Yeah,
like when I look at when I listen to all the pushback and I look at the exhibits we're asking for, 9 times out of the 10, you just sitting in your office on your computer with public information could give us the exhibits we needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that
is different though than the feedback that we've gotten before. Thinking back to the one on Quarry Road, what's her name? She wasn't able to move forward because she had to cross steep slopes, and up until then, the answer from the DRB to me has been all those features like deer wintering areas need to be shown on the final plat. So the surveyor does need to use them, or steep slopes, they need to do that. And the surveyors have pushed back because for the steep slopes, for example, there's the statewide database that says this is what steep slopes are. And they say, my license is on the line when I certify that this is true and accurate. And they don't believe that the state's data is, and they're not going to go out and do a slope analysis for a 2-lot subdivision, because that wasn't part of what they built in. They were like, that's going to be an extra $10,000.
You mean on Tarble Hill?
Yeah, for some reason that's the one that comes to mind, and it might have even been before it came to this board, like a different application. But the DRB's, or it was ZBA at the time, answer to me was all those things have to be on the plat, even if it's busy. They need to be on the plat.
Yep, I think, and I don't know if that was the Planning Commission that reviewed. Well, you don't go. You probably span the Planning Commission reviewing them and the ZBA reviewing them, and now the DRB. But I think a better way to think about that is that it's part of final plat review, but it's not the final plat. So if we could separate in our minds what a surveyor does from what the subdivision regulations require, I think that's going to be really helpful, because I get the frustration of the surveyor saying, well, I don't want to certify this on my survey, and then having them prepare exhibits with the other things, or having someone else prepare those other exhibits. So this is why I think the subdivision regulations, they're really a little bit lousy in that they're set up to make someone put all of those things on that drawing. Whereas I think I'm the opposite in how I think the process would work best, which would be, here's the boundary survey, here's my surveyor, and here are these other exhibits that demonstrate compliance with the bylaws or the other regulations, right? So I certainly don't want everything on one piece of paper. I think it's terrible to do it that way. I don't know if that helps.
Well, yeah, it does help, but that's different than I think the information that you gave me in the past, where I think it was a boundary line adjustment that I was reviewing, and I think I asked for input on it, and whether or not I could take the A&R Atlas data and say, this is an exhibit, or this is just part of the application, and not have it shown on the final plat. And I think the response that you've given me was it needs to be on the final plat.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that it would be better to not have it on there. And maybe what you're saying is it has to be on there under these regulations, but if we changed them, then that would be more sensible.
Yeah, or a better answer might have been that has to be part of the final plat review process and not on the survey.
Yeah, I think that would make everything a lot easier, because then I could just do it.
So, yeah, so what you're saying is the surveyor would do the boundaries, and then there would be an exhibit showing deer wintering. Then there would be an exhibit showing, what else do we ask?
Steep slopes
Steep
and
slopes, wetlands.
We would accept the state steep slopes.
because it's a heck of a lot easier for me to do that than to try and communicate with people who are reluctant and say, we need to see this, and then they don't do it exactly right. So yeah, it is easier if I can just.
And you've done that in the past. I've
Right.
seen them in the past.
It's only been different for subdivisions where I was under the impression the board wouldn't accept those.
Yeah, and now, okay, and I don't mean to offer two separate ideas, but I just want to clarify. What I was saying is, in some instances, like a deer wintering area that's nowhere near development, that would probably be a really good example of where we would accept your exhibit. This applicant that we just had in here, Whitmore, for example, when the deer wintering area is like running right through building envelopes, that's probably an example of where we would need a more accurate exhibit. So I'm not saying the surveyor has to do it, but I don't know that the aerial images would suffice in that, because we're right in that area.
I'm
Does that make
confused. Are you
sense?
saying that, Todd, are you saying that that's something that you'd want on the final plat in this instance because it is near the development?
I'm saying that the aerial image probably wouldn't suffice in my mind. It would have to be an exhibit that was clearer. Like Grace's, like for example, like Grace's exhibit 3, it would be a good example, right? The deer wintering area is shown relative to the property boundaries. That's a better exhibit of something that would be near the development envelope.
Okay, so something that I couldn't produce, they would need either a surveyor, or if the surveyor was reluctant, an engineer to do.
Yeah, or someone like who can take information from the publicly available maps or whatever and put it on the boundary line, match it up to the boundary lines. Because the problem with the aerial exhibits is that if you look at them and you compare them to the survey, the boundary lines are often transposed for some reason. A&R, it transposes boundary lines just massively off of where they are. So.
Okay, I just think we need to be careful as a board with probably, and I might, and maybe, I think we should be very decisive in what we're asking for, because that's gonna lead to confusion and frustration on the applicant's part.
Yeah,
That would be my comment. I think and you're probably making it hard on the land use administrator too. It's either one way or the other. It's not. Sometimes this, sometimes that. That's my comment.
Yep, you're totally right, and I don't mean to be frustrating. I apologize for that.
Well, you're not frustrating, but when as a board, yeah. So I would lean towards we accept the deer wintering map or not. You tired? Yeah,
Yep.
we're getting tired.
I'll
That was good.
continue.
That was good.
to
That was good.
try
In with
to-
deer wintering areas and out with deer wintering areas. How about we call it a night?
Yeah, we keep trying to be better. You
Okay,
need a
so-
motion?
Yes.
We adjourn.
Yeah, we're fading here.
Okay,
All those in favor?
let's adjourn.
All
Thanks,
right.
Ryan. Thanks, everybody.
Andrew and Michael, and stop talking.
No, I actually uninstalled World Tank today because I was like trying to use AutoCAD and this one feature that I've used for a million years stopped working. Like you know, I was suspicious that something was goofing me up, so I uninstalled the whole program and everything, and I was doing the DRB. And how did your evening go? Uh-huh. Yep. Okay, well, I won't keep you guys then. No, Brooke, I said congratulations. And kudos to her for, having the initiative to make it happen. Good job. I meant her exercise. Oh, no. No. I know. She was super. She texted me. She was super fast. I did. I went for a jog. And I should be able to tell you. I might watch what I did. Yeah. No, I can't tell what I did. But it was like, I did, okay, it was 4 miles and it took me just under an hour. So I was more like 13:75 or 13:45. I was slow today. It was rainy, wet, and I just felt like I'm just gonna go do it. But the last few times I've jogged, it's irritated my knee, so I wanted to like go easy today. So that's what I did. I still did, but not at her pace. I mean, she was broken. No, I was just doing DRD stuff.
same old, where, like, I was saying, these applications need to be complete, and Ryan's like, the surveyors all tell me you ask for too much. They don't wanna work here anymore. No, fuck you. Yeah. Yeah. I don't wanna be on a DRB. I just don't. It's like, I wanna work for people who want me to do their job. I don't wanna work for people who don't want me to do the job. And that's what being on the DRB is. The applicants just want me to say. Right? Oh, good. Hi, Brookie. I was gonna go, I thought for some reason that I'd be able to finish my meeting and that I'm still on the